But before I go to that, I want to bring up a young man by the name of Anthony Williams. He appeared on my show almost 3 years ago in February of 2015. Today is Friday, second Friday of November. Anthony writes this to me from a jail in Hawaii after being transferred from a jail in Florida, where his major crime was speaking up as a private attorney general, which is in the federal code, but the judges are ignoring the code. They're ignoring the law. The judges are ignoring the law. Anthony writes, "Dear news reporter, my mission is regarding the corruption that I have exposed in the judicial system, law enforcement agencies, banks, and mortgage companies. I have been retaliated against for exposing this corruption and was almost murdered in 2013 in my cell at the direction of the Attorney General, AG, at that time in Hawaii, who was David Louie. For the last 4 years, I have been harassed, threatened to be killed by the FBI if I didn't stop doing what I was doing, and continuously charged with bogus charges to keep me unlawfully incarcerated. The FBI tried to have me imprisoned for life for the rape of child molestation. Charges they knew were bogus, but charged me anyway. I got this case dismissed in 3 weeks, and then they turned around and had me charged with the same charges. The FBI went so far as to fake my fingerprints to identify me as the one who committed the crime at my extradition hearing. The hearing was video recorded and uploaded to YouTube under FBI Hawaii Conspiracy Part 1 and FBI Hawaii Conspiracy Part 2. I was arrested on September 13th, 2013 in Honolulu, Hawaii, and spent 3 months awaiting extradition back to Georgia to face the false rape and child molestation charges. While incarcerated at the Oahu Community Correction Center, OCCC, I was attacked 3 straight weeks at the direction of David Louie, who was the AG of Hawaii at that time. The reason I know it was at his instruction was because 2 of the officers at OCCC who came to me, know me, told me that the AG's office is the one who put the hit, quote, hit out on me because what I exposed about them not distributing the $71 million settlement from the banks that was supposed to go to the homeowners, but instead went to their office and the homeowners were paid a measly $300 to $400. On October 9th, 2013, while incarcerated at OCCC, I was visited by 2 agents from the Attorney General's office. This was on a Wednesday. After they came to see me, I was attacked by inmates 3 straight weeks, all on Wednesdays. On October 16th, 2013, I was assaulted by 5 inmates. We were thrown in the hole for 5 days. When I came out of the hole, I was sent to dorm M11. On October 23rd, 2013, while I was in my cell, an inmate who I don't know came in my cell and said something to me in a foreign language and assaulted me. I was again thrown in the hole for fighting. I then received a letter from the warden which stated I would remain in the hole because, quote, I was a threat to the security of the facility. I was placed on administrative segregation, which is solitary confinement. I was not allowed to have any contact with any inmates and had to go to the rec yard by myself. On October 30th, 2013, while in solitary confinement, the other inmates were let out to go to the rec yard. My cell door came open, and I walked to the door, and I looked left, and that's all I remember. I then woke up in my cell floor with my head busted open, and I'm lying in a pool of blood with a medical team around me, putting me on a stretcher and asking me What happened to me? I was rushed to Queens Medical Center and had to have 11 staples put in my head to close up the wound to my head. I still have a total memory loss of how I was assaulted, but the jail cameras caught the incident, and I was told that inmate Matthew Fasow was the one who assaulted me. I still haven't been told what I was hit with. The guard who was working that shift intentionally opened my cell door to allow me to be assaulted. The two officers told me that when I get out to either wear a bulletproof vest or just leave Hawaii because they felt that they would kill me if I stayed. I'm reaching out to you to let the American people know what really happened to me in the event they succeeded in murdering me. Unlawfully declared it is a mistrial after I objected. I was then tried again 24 days later and was not allowed to put in the same evidence exhibits and I placed in the first trial. One of the jurors told the bailiff she was afraid to be on the jury and wanted off the jury. She was a Caucasian lady whose name is Patricia. When Judge Siegel brought her in by herself to question her about this, she confirmed that she was afraid and didn't want to be on the jury. I had the judge ask her, did anyone threaten her? And she hesitated, then said, no. And then the judge asked her, then you are okay to stay on the jury, right? And now she states that she is. She goes back to the jury room, and I was convicted in less than 45 minutes. Obviously, someone threatened those jurors to issue a guilty verdict. I was sentenced to 6 months in jail, 2 years community control, and 22 and a half years probation. I then was violated in 2 months for receiving a traffic ticket and sentenced to another year in jail. While serving that time, and 2 weeks before I was due to be released, I was charged with new charges of unlawful filing of documents and grand theft of a house. This stemmed from a foreclosure proceeding that I protected a client from being evicted by Bank of America. The client had been living in that house since 2008. I was charged with grand theft for filing documents that prevented the bank from kicking this family out on the streets. I represented myself and again was not allowed to put in the evidence in my defense and was found guilty and sentenced this time to 15 years in Florida State Penitentiary and 15 years probation to follow. 3 days after being sent to the Florida State Pen, I was picked up by U.S. Marshals for an indictment out of Hawaii for mail fraud and wire fraud. I have been charged with 19 counts of mail fraud and 11 counts of wire fraud, all stemming from me protecting homeowners from foreclosure. The government is falsely alleging that I misrepresented through the mail and wire what I could do for clients, in which I've never misrepresented anything to any of my clients and never had any complaints from clients and have a A+ Better Business Bureau rating. I demanded a speedy trial and was denied by the judge, who gave the government a 6-month extension to take me to trial, which violates my due process and speedy trial rights. They indicted me back in February 2017 and continue to hold me without bond in order to further harass and cause financial hardship for me and my family. If convicted of these bogus charges, I face up to 30 years in federal prison for a crime that never happened. They have done everything to shut me up from exposing the corruption of the courts, banks, and the FBI. I do apologize for the length of this letter, but this may be my only chance to have the truth told before they kill me. I have no intentions of committing suicide because I have everything to live for. So if I am found dead in my cell and the jail reports that I committed suicide, you will know that it is a lie and just a cover-up. I want my family to know, and they already know this, that I would never do anything to harm myself or kill myself. I am a man of faith, and I believe in Yahweh and Yeshua, and I am mentally and spiritually strong, and I will continue to fight to expose this corruption and inform the American people what is going on and other rights. I have had other news reporters try to come visit me while I was in Florida, and they were denied visitation with me. Please expose this corruption before they do something to kill me. If they do succeed, please don't let my death be in vain. Sincerely yours, Anthony Williams. And here's his address, people. Here's his address. Private Attorney General, FDC Honolulu, 05963-122, P.O. Box 380. That's 30080. Honolulu, Hawaii, 96820. Anthony Williams. Please write him a letter and let him know, at least William Wagner read his letter on television. This young man, I can confirm that last statement because I was the reporter that went at least 2 times that I recall to where he was incarcerated at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And twice, during visitation hours, they denied him the right to have me visit him. I came with a camera. I wanted to tape him in custody, in the facility. They said, no cameras allowed. So I put my camera away, came back, same thing. Twice they denied him a reporter during visitation hours in Florida at Fort Lauderdale Prison. That crooked judge there in Florida, you know who you are. You need to do 5 to 10 years in your own facility and have your visitation denied. You need to get the same treatment Anthony got because you're a crook. You, judge, are a crook. Anthony Williams, people, is languishing now in a Honolulu jail. God only knows what's happened to him since he sent this letter out. He did get my letter, though, I got to say that. And if you want to send him some money to cover his jail expenses like postage and stuff, that address.